Hey everyone, welcome to our weekly recap. It's also going to include an invitation. So this week, in the university land, for everybody who's on terms, right, so, or quarters, if you will, was week 8. So last week was week 8. This is Monday of week 9. And if anybody who has gone to a university or has worked in a university that's on quarters, you know that like week 8, 9 is getting into all the weeds and it's getting harried and crazy and people are feeling stressed. Well, we must have been feeling that because we actually didn't have any participants for forum this week. And that's totally okay. What I wanted to offer you today was a little bit of maybe a respite as we spend just 4 or 5 minutes together and offer some perspective and then an invitation at the end to come join us on Friday to do something a little bit different than just coming and talking. If I've learned anything from these forums that I've been hosting over the last few months, not just at OSU, but with other community partners, is that it's really hard to talk about mental health right now. And that's okay. So let's do something different. And I'll share that with you here at the end. So first, I'm going to share with you ways, especially for all my friends in the university, but for anybody who cares to watch right now, how to get your daily dose, DOSE, so that you can battle things like anxiety and depression, so that you can use your own natural self to be able to overcome those stress hormones or those feelings of depression or sadness or loneliness. Okay, so this comes from the research done from the website Mind My Peelings or Mind Your Peelings. Let me pull that up and make sure I'm getting it right. So mindmypeelings.com, peelings, Peelings. So mindmypeelings.com. I really love this infographic. I'm going to include it in the links below because I think it's super helpful. It breaks it down in a really digestible way. But I'm going to give it to you right now. So the first one for taking your daily dose stands for, here are my slides, I'm such a teacher, dopamine. All right, so dopamine has to do with motivation, learning, and pleasure. Okay, and these are just generalizations, right? As you're watching this, you might have just taken a psychology class and you're like, Slade, there's so much more, right? Obviously, I've got 4 minutes to talk with you, okay? So what we can do to encourage those chemicals, encourage those hormones in our minds, in our bodies, is we can create, we can meditate. And then my last one in this 8 kind of sounding is we can mediate, meaning we can mediate our day by creating lists and being able to give ourselves the best opportunity to be successful. All right. Now I want to be careful with making lists because sometimes they can also create anxiety because you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do and I haven't checked off all my lists. So, moving up into meditate and maybe create meaning like draw or color or just scribble on a page. It doesn't have to be super amazing, just create. All right, next one in dose is oxytocin, also known as the cuddle hormone in our bodies, right? It's associated with trust, relationships, and connection, something that we need so much. I think earlier during this adventure, I had talked about how hugs are so important. And that for thriving and being able to survive as humans, we need more than 5 hugs a day. Okay, so we can help encourage this in our own bodies by socializing appropriately. I said harmonizing because what the encouragement is that we can listen to music, and this helps to encourage oxytocin in the body. So I said harmonize because I wanted to go with this eyes theme, and then polarize, meaning not the kind of polarization that has to do with light, but get cold, change your temperature. If you are in need of some oxytocin, feeling that sense of connection and being okay, you can take a cold shower and it will help to derive that in the body. All right, next one, serotonin, right? DOS, this is the S, serotonin, right? This has to do with self-acceptance. I was going to say self-accomplished, but that is part of that, right? Is that we feel accomplished, self-acceptance, and our confidence. So how can we encourage this in the body? I go back to, again, this kind of eyes type thing. So we can exercise, polarize, and humanize. So what does that mean? So exercise, right? Get out, go for a walk, go for a run, do 10 push-ups, do some squats, right? Polarize, take a cold shower, right? Get your body temperature changed. And then humanize. What does that have to do with serotonin? can we practice what Kristen Neff calls common humanity? Can we see ourselves as human? Can we give ourselves grace? So can we humanize? All right, here's the last one. We're almost done. Endorphins, the one that we usually know very well, from our experiences in high school and maybe undergrad already. We talk a lot about endorphins, right? These are associated with brief moments of euphoria, right? It's not going to last forever, and you think of like adrenaline junkies, those kind of things, right? There's this sense of euphoria that happens afterwards that has to do with endorphins. The next one, right? It responds to stress or pain. And can help us with our anxiety or with sadness. So how can we cultivate this in ourselves? We can laugh. Sometimes you might find yourself feeling like you just need to watch something funny, right? So find something truly funny, right? And I would say something kind and funny, not dehumanizing and funny. We can cry. My favorite movie to cry with is Still Magnolias. Every time. Malin gets me every time at the end. If you don't know it, watch it, Still Magnolias. There's also a really lovely version with Queen Latifah and a whole black cast. It's really good. Eat. I put a question mark on this because sometimes we can eat like spicy foods, sometimes something sweet. But I want to be careful with eating because eating can become an inappropriate coping mechanism if we're looking for euphoria. Or those endorphins, so we overeat. So be careful with the eating one, and then exercise. Same deal here, right? We can over-exercise because we're constantly chasing that high. So endorphins, let's not mess around with them, but definitely we need them to find balance. So what am I going to invite you to do? We're more than 4 minutes into this video. I'll keep it brief. This Friday, in front of the Women's Building, I will have set up a couple of banners that I want you to come help me paint or draw, whatever I decide to do. Anyways, we're going to come fill them in with color. It's going to be a giant coloring page for you to come and to enjoy and to play and to be able to encourage specifically a little bit of dopamine, a little bit of joy, which will help us to battle that anxiety and that stress that comes with being in week 9. All right, it is such a pleasure to be with you and to work with you, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you this Friday. Until then, bye.